Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Geek Plan. I'm Jeff, and thank you for watching tonight. It is now 1:15 a.m. on Monday officially. Technically, it's still Sunday. I kind of tend to do it that way since I haven't gone to bed yet. So today we are. I used to actually do a podcast on this channel called Vader's Castle. I decided to bring it back as a live stream. So probably going to start doing this every Sunday evening if there's enough Star Wars news that I can talk about, and then we'll go from there. Eventually, would like to have some guests on to talk to me about different things. But for now, it's just me. So we'll see. Today we are actually do a podcast on this channel called Vader's Castle. Okay, so that was me in the background of my own live stream. I was on my page just to make sure it was going to be up and running. Okay, good. All right. So anyway, I was talking about Vader's Castle as a podcast. I used to do it. I used to put it on different podcast platforms, was it SoundCloud was one of them. I did it on iTunes and a couple other things too, like a couple of Android apps too that people used for podcasts. I would put it on. But anyway, so I want to talk about a couple things before we get into that. Cheers to everyone out there. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a very busy weekend. I actually saw Jumanji tonight. Well, this afternoon at our dinner and a movie theater we have here. They have a couple theaters in the movie theater, one of the local theaters here that has where you can order food and drink while you're sitting watching the movie, which is really, really convenient. So we did that today, and it was surprisingly good. I actually enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't like the most amazing thing ever, but I actually preferred it over The Rise of Skywalker, which is not something I want to admit. I don't like saying that. It kind of sucks. But also, really quickly, I wanted to say I'm going to do a video on this so you guys can see. But we are at 100, I think 139 subs right now. So when we hit 200 subs, we're giving this away. It is a Darth Vader. It's a Futura Pop from Target. It's in a hard case. It's a Target exclusive. There. Yeah, they're sold out, so you can only buy them online. And of course, people just love to up the pricing on eBay. But I mean, you can definitely find them pretty well priced. But we're going to give it away, probably with a Vader shirt to go with it once we hit 200 subscribers. So if you guys could share our videos around, that would really help us out and get us to the 200 subscribers so we can give that away. And then onwards towards more bigger and better things and even bigger and better giveaways. So also, you can see behind me, there's color in the background over here. This stupid LED strip I have on this case back here is not responding well. So I'm going to have to actually unplug it, and I'm going to have to reset it and figure out what's going on because it's just driving me insane. But that's why there's a bunch of different colors in the background. And currently, if you want to know what I'm drinking, is actually an Urban Artifact Trivet. It's a cranberry lemonade goza. It's like a sour beer. It's actually pretty good. It's not super heavy. It's very light, which is nice. If you like a cranberry lemonade, you don't want it to be heavy. So it's very nice. So I'm enjoying that. So some big stuff came out. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the website Making Star Wars, but let's go ahead. I'll share my screen here and we'll take a look. Okay. So makingstarwars.net has a report out about what they're going to be doing for the next series of movies in the Star Wars saga. All right. So let's get into this. This is I think Jason Ward is reporting this. Jason Ward, whether you like him or not, he has reported a lot of very true things in the past. And let's get into this. Let's talk about it. And then we'll kind of go through what maybe it means or if it's even true. Because I tell you what, it's hard for me to think that even if this is something that was scheduled, they had talked about it 6 months ago after the reception for Rise of Skywalker and what happened with that. I wonder if it's going to change what they're going to be doing. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to go and read this. We'll kind of get into it. It says, my informants recently told me that the Cassian and Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus shows are supposed to be coming to Pinewood since other studio spaces have recently become unavailable, and the next Star Wars film is thought to be there as well. My sources also elaborated on what that film series will be. So he's going to talk about what he thinks it's going to be, what his sources are telling him, and his sources are saying that the next Star Wars saga is going to take place during an era called the High Republic era, which, by the way, I've never heard of this era. I have read some EU stuff, not a lot. Ryan Kennel from RK Outpost, part of the Geeks and Gamers Network, did a video on this today. You guys go check that out. Really, really good breakdown of this. And he actually talks a lot about the stuff that might be in an article that might relate to some stuff that's in the expanded universe, the Legends material that was decanonized by Disney when they bought Lucasfilm. But I never heard of that. And I even looked it up myself to see if there's any, like it was maybe named something else that was similar. Didn't find anything. And they say it sounds like the setting is 400 years before the Skywalker saga. So Skywalker saga is episode 1 to episode 9. So that would be 400 years before the Phantom Menace. This new saga is set during a time that the Sith's rule of two has been established by Darth Bane, and Yoda is a Jedi, but isn't the old Jedi we knew from the Skywalker era. So he's going to be quite a few hundred years younger. And if they do it in this era, I think it's because they want a character from the trilogy or from the Star Wars Skywalker saga that we know that will help pull normie fans in, like people who don't know um, maybe stories from the Old Republic or before the prequel era and weren't kind of reading Legends novels or Star Wars books in the original EU. So they want someone to connect this to what they're doing. So people who see this movie are like, okay, Yoda, I know Yoda. So instead of going 1,000 years or more, like in the Old Republic era in the EU that everyone has loved for so long with the Old Republic games and the Old Republic MMO and all the expanding universe novels, they're going back 400 years so they can have Yoda, apparently, because I think they just want people to understand what's going on and they have a character they can relate to or attach themselves to that they already know. So he continues also real quickly. He says it's set during a time that the Sith's rule of two has already been established by Darth Bane. So also, really quickly, if they are going to put this 400 years before the Skywalker saga, not 1,000 or more, they cannot have Sith or Dark Jedi or anything like that. Because in the Phantom Menace, Mundi, I believe, is the one who says it. The Sith have been extinct for a millennia. I mean, the clips all over YouTube. I went and popped in my Phantom Menace Blu-ray just to make sure earlier. I believe it was Mundi that said that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, so I apologize. But anyway, so they can't have Sith. There's no Sith that can be in it. So if there is, it'll have to be off screen. None of the Jedi will be able to know what's going on. Maybe it will be like I believe Darth Tenebrau, who trained Darth Plagueis. Maybe it might be in this time period, or maybe the person who trained him before. Not sure how long his species lived, or how long the species of the moon, Darth Plagueis species, lived either. So maybe that could come into play. Not sure. And I know a lot of people, including myself, were hoping that Disney was going to go Old Republic. I mean, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years before the start of the Skywalker saga, before BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, which, by the way, I believe they're changing that to before and after the Starkiller incident is now the new timeline in Star Wars. Like, instead of AD or BC, it used to be BBY, which is before the Battle of Yavin and after the Battle of Yavin. So ABY and BBY. Now they're going to change it, looks like, to go more towards what they're doing. And I understand that's a big incident. I mean, the Battle of Yavin was a big incident, but the Starkiller thing was huge. I mean, 5 planets were destroyed by a single weapon. So, I mean, that's pretty big. So I understand why they're changing that. But, I mean, I just really wish they would go back farther, because I really would like to see maybe even like the start of the Jedi, or the first Jedi Civil War, or the Mandalorian Wars, or like how Revan and Malik took off to fight the Mandalorians and were seduced in the unknown regions to the dark side and came back against the Jedi, and Malik turned on Revan. Like, there's so much stuff they can do there and I'm a big Knights of the Old Republic fan. I've read the Revan novel. It's been a long time. I've read some of the other. I think I read maybe the first book in the Darth Bane trilogy, not all of them, but that's really good. The Revan novel is really good. I have not played the Old Republic MMO, so I don't really know the story except for what I watched in YouTube videos on what happens to Darth Revan and technically what was canon before. And technically, the Old Republic game is still canon. So from what I've been told, I think that is, since it's currently something that's actually ongoing. But let's continue on the article. He says these new films will not make up a trilogy, but rather a series, which kind of falls in line with maybe what Kathleen Kennedy said on the red carpet before the Rise of Skywalker, that they might be kind of going away from trilogies for now and kind of looking at something different. And in my opinion, what they're going to do, if they're going to make this a series and not a trilogy, is that they're going to do a first film and see how well it does, see how well the audience reception is for it, to see if it merits its own, like a sequel. So it would be it would technically be a story that's contained. So you don't have, like, maybe there might be some hanging threads, but not huge threads, but something that's wrapped up, that can be continued, maybe through a different character's point of view, or maybe a few years down the road as something from that story kind of evolves, maybe. But maybe that's what they're going to do. So maybe just so they don't get stuck in a trilogy, like if this movie were announced as a trilogy, and the first movie comes out and bombs, like maybe loses money like Solo did, they probably wouldn't go back to that. I mean, they did abandon the Star Wars story films, as we can tell for now, because of the success, well, lack of success for Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo did lose money. I mean, you can look it up. It did, unfortunately. I mean, it was not a great film. It wasn't awful. I'd prefer to watch that over The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker. But you can take that how you want. Okay, so let's go back in here. These new films will not make up a trilogy, but rather a series of film which will be released in the same story era and interconnect. So D.B. Weiss and David Benioff were to make the series before moving on to a more lucrative deal. This method of storytelling was supposed to apply to the Star Wars story films, but they never got a chance to interconnect the two stories that they told with more material. So this is what looks like it's going on. This was the Game of Thrones guys' creation, and a lot of people speculated. There were a lot of other rumors going around that Old Republic, or before, like way before the Skywalker saga started, time period was what they were going to be playing in, and maybe kind of have more of a Game of Thrones vibe. But I believe after the backlash from Game of Thrones season 8, and Benioff and Weiss were like, we don't want to step into another large franchise with a very vocal fan base, because we dealt with that with Game of Thrones, and we're going to move on to something else, because we don't want to have to deal with that anymore, especially if they were to screw it up or to make people unhappy, or take something from somebody's beloved Legends novel that they love and just take it and tear it apart, or make it just terrible, or don't convert the source material, like a lot of stuff they did in the Game of Thrones books. I didn't read the books. A lot of friends I know that did, that say they didn't do a very good job of some of the stuff and pulling threads, and they just left some stuff out, especially after season 5. A lot of people say it went downhill. I did like Game of Thrones up until about season 7. Well, actually, was season 7 started, I was kind of about it. But anyway, going off on a little bit of a tangent there, so I apologize. Let's get back into there. I will, there in this next article, there is a link to another article, actually this next paragraph, and I will pull that up here in a bit, and we'll talk about that as well. Zero.hu ran an excellent scoop that elaborates on how Project Luminous will kick off with a video game, and a lot of information that corroborates the timeline information I've heard. They have heard some of the stories will have Jedi exploring the unknown regions. Make sure you check out their article, as I feel my information is in direct alignment with theirs, and our stories support one another. For some time, I have heard that Project Luminous was a build up to the next film era, which my sources are calling the High Republic era. It should be noted that I have very little reason to think that it's going to be the title for the series itself. So, of course, as you can imagine, there are already a ton of memes out there I've seen with High Republic, with like Snoop Dogg, and a lot of joint usage in those memes. It's pretty funny, actually. So I would definitely check them out. And of course, comments on a lot of people's videos today. That's all it was about. But anyway, I don't know if I like the name High Republic. I don't. It kind of sounds above everything else, and I don't think the Republic would go by that kind of a title in my. I don't know. I don't think it sounds right. So they're also saying that this is going to kick off with a video game. Now, if that's true, and we'll read the article from Zero.hu in a minute about that. But if that's really true, and this video game's going to kick it off, and I believe it says in 2020, we would have already heard something. I mean, I think they would already announce something, maybe, but maybe they're saving it for Celebration this year. And they kind of a big surprise, like, hey, this is all the stuff that's coming now. We got this video game that starts it out. Then we're going to have a movie series about this. So that's a possibility. But we'll check out the article, like I said, in a minute. So he's saying he doesn't think it's going to be the title of the series, the High Republic era, which, I mean, it could be Star Wars, the High Republic, and then it'd be the title of that specific film in the series under it. So, I mean, they could do quite a bit of things. But yeah, I don't really like the High Republic. I'm not a huge fan of that. Because of the volume of Star Wars stories set during the High Republic era, it is difficult to say which emerging characters they are going to spotlight in these upcoming films. While the series will have Jedi, it will also have heroes who are not Jedi. While I cannot concretely define the aesthetic of this new era, it sounds like it is rooted in what DB Weiss and David Benioff thought the Republic would look like. So it's something that they kind of went on. These designs are likely going to be grounded in the familiar, but also new, allowing for a fresh and fun feeling that Star Wars has not seen since George Lucas kicked off the prequel series at the end of the 90s. The High Republic, this is his opinion. The High Republic era sounds rad. It sounds like it's going to be a rich and lush era to explore. With this new project, comics and information connected to the film should tie in more frequently than in the past. While nothing has been announced, we should add the caveat that this is the plan according to several sources. We do not really see how it could change at this point, but anything is possible until production begins. But why 400 years for the new era when they could have chosen 420 years? Ha ha ha. Sorry, I have to get those high jokes out of my system. Well, okay, of course, gotta do that. But yeah, so it sounds like the High Republic was what Benioff and Weiss, D&D, Dumb and Dumber, were looking like their version of what the Republic was going to be in that era. And it was going to be grounded in stuff we already know, but it's going to introduce new things. And of course, it says like one thing it really kind of like got my attention was that, where is it here? Okay. While we'll have Jedi in it, we'll also have heroes who are not Jedi, which is interesting. So let's get into this next article that kind of goes along with this when it connects to what they're saying and this Project Luminous that this Zero.hu website is reporting. So let me share my screen with you guys on that one. So let me do that, and let's share the next tab. And there we go. Okay, so Zero.hu. I never heard of this website before today. Let's see here. Let's get into it. Okay, so when was this article published? Does it have a date? So 9 months before Celebration of Chicago. So the lead up to the article says our informant close to Disney says the multi-platform project will start with a video game. The article contains spoilers. So if this is all true, this spoilers ahead, grain of salt, of course, as usual. So it says almost 9 months ago at the 2019 Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, it was announced that Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, Danielle Jose Older, Kevin Scott, and Charles Soule are working on a joint project which was named Project Luminous. In April, we tried to collect everything connected to the project and its participants. There were no leaks about Luminous since, apart from Scott's tweet about several meetings with his fellow writers until now. Our source with an insight into Disney's work has shared some information with us concerning the concept of the project. So if you don't wish to see spoilers, stop reading. But, like I said, take this with a grain of salt. This could be completely true. It could be completely false. We don't know. I'm going to take a quick drink real quick. Okay. So here's what they know about Project Luminous, which sounds very unique. We'll get into, I'm either going to read all of the a couple paragraphs and then go over them, or we're going to, if I go by a sentence and it pulls something out, I want to address it right away. Kevin Scott only shared that the project will happen in 2020. So they're saying 2020. That's a new and exciting thing, the largest he has ever participated in. Instead of further comments, he used a Ben Kenobi phrase from A New Hope. The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It all matches with what our informant said about the secret project. Supposedly, Disney is also feeling that its current path with movies has flaws and has therefore started designing a huge project years ago, which will result in making the future of the Star Wars franchise similar to the MCU. So, what that means to me is everything they're going to be doing is interconnected. Every movie connects to everybody. The biggest thing I don't like about the MCU is, let's say you're watching Thor Ragnarok, Dark World, and he's in, I think it's London, and that the Dark Elves are doing their universe-ending, big thing there. I forgot, dude. Dark World was not good. I forgot about it. Excuse me. Why didn't the other Avengers show up to see if he needed help? Why wasn't Iron Man there right away? Do you need help? Because if it's that connected, they would be trying to help each other if there's a big world-ending event on Earth with the other Avengers, especially Iron Man. Iron Man would definitely be there. So to me, If it's going to be MCU, it's got to be even more connected. And Disney has to go by their own canon that they're creating. Quick spoilers for Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to, it's not a huge like plot ending thing, but it is a spoiler. So if you haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker, I'm warning you now, I'm going to do a quick spoiler. So a spoiler coming now. In the movie, Poe tells Finn, after Finn asks him, how do you hotwire stuff? How do you know all of this shady stuff? He says, well, I was a spice runner. Like I was a spice runner before I joined the New Republic or whatever. That is incorrect in its own canon. I've seen people point this out in videos and articles. In its own canon, the Poe Dameron comic series, the Star Wars comic series that intertwines, he was always in the New Republic. His parents were in the battle above Endor against the second Death Star, and he was grown up in that world, and he was always in the New Republic, and he was always in the military, like in the Navy. So that literally went against what they wrote in a comic book that they put out. So if they're going to continue and try to weave this so well, they have to make sure they're not contradicting their stuff. Like, I mean, you look at The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi. There's so many threads that JJ started that Ryan would just like pull the thread, throw in the trash, pull the thread, throw in the trash. I don't want to do that. Let's just do something new because I'm an idiot. Because Ryan Johnson, you did a shitty Star Wars movie. You did. Let's get past that. But they need to make sure they stick to their own stuff. I mean, it has to be connected. It can't just be like, well, they talked about this, but then they never did anything about it. Or they talked about this and made it a huge deal, and now it's not a big deal. Like race parentage in The Force Awakens. They kept talking about it. I want to go back to waiting for my parents. I'm waiting for my parents. I'm waiting for my parents. They're the ones who made it important. We didn't give a shit about it until they said it. They're the reasons we cared about that. And then Ryan Johnson's like, they're nobodies. But then JJ turns around and did what he did in The Rise of Skywalker, which I'm sure if you've seen the film, I'm not really going to talk about that either. So getting back to the article, everybody wants to be like the MCU. Everybody does. Not everybody can be the MCU. I think if Kevin Feige is coming in to run some of this, like the rumors have suggested, that it might be true. So we'll see. But not everything can be the MCU. Like DC is trying to go MCU. It's got to be its own thing. You have to do your own thing. You can't copy somebody else. Do your own thing. Do something different and do what you want to do with it. Don't just be like, oh, we got to copy this frame by frame, beat by beat. Okay, so the article continues. Our informant said that the new connected multi-platform story will be set 300 to 400 years before the Skywalker saga, which the Skywalker saga is episode 1 through episode 9. I've seen a lot of people say Return of the Jedi or New Hope. It's the Phantom Menace. The Skywalker saga starts technically when Anakin is born. The plot would involve a group of Jedi setting out to explore the then unknown regions of the galaxy. Timothy Zahn's Outbound Flight might come into mind, which also deals with Jedi exploring what lies outside the edges of the galaxy. Now, quickly, I've never read Outbound Flight. I've heard nothing but great things about it. So, Timothy Zahn wrote this novel. I would suggest to go check it out. Maybe look online, maybe find an audiobook of it as well, just to check that out. According to our informant, the Jedi would get involved in numerous adventures and conflicts with the 3 different types of enemy. The darkest being ancient evils, Sith gods of some sort. So that goes back to another thing, okay? This would have to be kind of a different kind of a Sith versus what we saw in episode 1 with Darth Maul. Because like they said, the Sith had been extinct for a millennia. That's 1,000 years. We cannot contradict what we've already done. So if you're going to do this, you got to go farther back, or it's got to be something completely different. That maybe it's a Sith threat that could rise or something. I don't know, but it can't be a Sith. It can't, because it would completely contradict that. So that's just the one thing I'm worried about this. Okay. It continues, as far as we know, these stories will be separate, but also connected, similar to the MCU. The more one would see, the more it could be enjoyed, with the different plots culminating in the style of the Avengers movie. The main Jedi characters would all have different strengths and powers similar to superheroes. Let's get to that real quick, okay? Jedi are not superheroes. Thor Skywalker is a really, really, really good YouTube channel. If you guys search Thor Skywalker, it'll come up. He did a really, really good video on what the difference between Jedi and superheroes are, and they are not superheroes. They are basically have advanced reflexes that they connect into the Force, and the Force requires them to do these things when they need to do them. It would be jump, run, force push, force pull, things like that, like in the original 1 through 6, those kind of powers. We get into episode 8, episode 9, we're getting force powers that, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. So I think they're pushing that to be like, oh yeah, look, they're superheroes. So then when this comes out and they're actually doing all this superhuman shit, that it's, oh look, they're fucking superheroes. And they're not. The Jedi are not the same thing. Although Project Luminous is said to be launched in 2020, our informant said that its first product will be a video game in 2021. So that's over a year from now. So I can understand if there's a video game in the works, it would come out in 2021 and we haven't heard anything about it. I think they're going to talk about, if this is really true, all this is true, they're going to talk about this at Celebration, because the biggest thing to happen at Celebration this year in Anaheim is going to be I think it's the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. Huge. I'm not going this year, unfortunately. Decided against it because we're going to try to take a different vacation, me and my wife together. And she was like, I really don't want to go to California while you go to these conventions and go to the beach by myself or go do this stuff by myself. I want to hang out with you. I'm like, okay, I understand. That makes sense. So I opted not to go. So if it comes up down the road where I have the money and there are still tickets available, I might try to go maybe for the day that the Empire Strikes Back panel is, but probably won't go until the 2 years after that. So it'll be 2022, which would be the first movie I'm thinking. Okay, so they speculate from here on out. So from here on out, this is their speculation. It's possible that only the announcement of Project Frame will happen in 2020. The Star Wars Celebration of Anaheim would be a perfect opportunity for Lucasfilm to share more about the mysterious project. And I do think if there's going to be a video game in 2021, there's going to be rumblings of it, or like an announcement trailer or something they're going to announce something at Star Wars Celebration. I doubt that they're going to go into Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, California without something besides the Empire Strikes Back 40th panel. They're going to have something new. They're going to have to talk about I'm sure they'll have something about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, probably the Cassian Andor series, but they have to do something else because I don't know, they have to go big. And I think that's why they're splitting these celebrations up every 2 years and not every year like they're doing before, because it's just too much to do, because people were getting upset that there wasn't enough announced at these things. And honestly, Star Wars Celebration is for fans to go check out the booths, check out all the cool merch people bring in, all the old stuff, vintage toys you could buy, all the new merch that's coming out from all the exclusive vendors that are there, all the different panels, like the Mark Hamill panels, when they did like Rebels panels and the movie panels, or, like the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary panel. I was at the one when they did the New Hope anniversary panel. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. It's for cosplay and, groups to get together and see each other, that live across country or across the world from each other. That's what it's basically about. It's not a news source. I mean, it is, but it isn't. So, which contradicts what I just said about them bringing something to Star Wars Celebration, but I do think they will, because after that complaint, I believe it was the one in Germany when Rogue One was, before Rogue One came out, nothing was really announced and people were like trashing it, like Collider Jedi Council, a lot of these big shows on YouTube or big channels on YouTube were like trashing it, saying it was just a letdown when it's not meant for that kind of stuff, mostly. So I do think if they're going to do something like this, it's going to be at Celebration, because they won't have another Celebration until 2022. So that's another year break if this game's really coming out in 2021, or the next movie's in 2021, which I think it's December 2021 is the next film, if I remember correctly. It must be mentioned that in May 2019, rumors arose about, okay, this name is going to really, I'm not going to get it right, Leta Kalogridis, I'm not sure, working on the script of a trilogy set in the days of the Old Republic since 2018. It is possible that all our information about Project Luminous and this rumor match, although it must be mentioned that the use of the phrase Old Republic is quite unclear. Sometimes it is used for the setting of the KOTOR and the Old Republic games, sometimes for the times before the Phantom Menace. Yes, they did say Old Republic. They did say Old Republic, I believe, in the prequels. I believe, like referring to a time just before, like that time. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. That'd be great. If Kalogridis has indeed been working on, I am completely guaranteeing butchering that name, so I apologize to this person profusely. If they've been working on the script for a long time, it might be finished in time. It's also possible that she writes her story instead of David Benioff and DB Weiss for the planned December 2022. Okay, so it is December 2022 movie. Les actually is the same project, and Calogridis was the reason the duo left in October 2019. The Hollywood Reporter previously wrote that an announcement about the next movie is expected for January, the same month mentioned above about some revelations about Project Luminous. We tried to find out which half of January from Kevin Scott, but no avail. So on Twitter, people asked him, do I remember well that we will know more about Project Luminous in January? Will it be an official announcement? If yes, which half of the month? And he replies, always in motion, the future is. News is coming, but unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to say when yet. Watch Star Wars for more info as it happens. So if you guys want to follow him on Twitter as well, and the Star Wars Twitter account, because when the news comes out, they post that kind of stuff. Okay, so let me take a quick drink and then we'll get back in this article. And there's a lot of information to be taken in with this. And so I was incorrect. It said 2022 is the first movie. So we will have another celebration before the next film. So if they don't announce anything this year and they just kind of have Obi-Wan, or because the Obi-Wan series starts shooting in the spring, so they might have a little bit of something to show us about that, or maybe just the people at Celebration will get to see it. I don't know, like the Mandalorian stuff. So we'll see. Not exactly sure what they're going to do. By the way, I'm going to leave this link for you guys in the chat here. There's a link for the article I'm reading now. I'll also leave a link for the article for making Star Wars, and when I get done with the stream, I'll actually put it in the description. Okay. So after that tweet, they continue in the article. If our information is about Project Luminous is correct, then Kathleen Kennedy was great at obscuring when giving an interview to Rolling Stone, or she was lying. We've got various things we're looking at and various ways in which we can begin or not, as you can imagine. You know, do you go back? Do you go forward? All those questions are being asked. Do we stay in this galaxy? Do we go to another? The universe is never ending, laughed Kennedy, which didn't seem like the company is certain which direction to take. Her answer was a confident no when asked if they had decided what the next step will be, which also shows an uncertain future. Now, I will point to some things on this front. I think in the next couple of months, we will see the shift from Kathleen Kennedy to Feige or Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, or someone else put in place at Lucasfilm. I think Kennedy is out now. I think any involvement she has is gone. That's why she really didn't talk a lot about this. Excuse me. I know a lot of people complain about Kathleen Kennedy. I'm one of them. When you go into a franchise that you paid $4 billion for, and you go into a trilogy, your first trilogy with Star Wars, you have Star Wars. That's yours now. You're doing this. And you don't have an outline for your trilogy, you done fucked up. And it shows. It's such an inconsistent film trilogy. It doesn't make sense from start to finish. It doesn't feel like it's a connected story. It almost feels like 3 standalone movies and set in the same world. It's very weird. And I believe in 20 years, people will really, really have forgotten these movies, as the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy live on like they have been since their inception. And yes, the prequel trilogy was hated, but it was still talked about. People still would say, well, I didn't like it, but had great, lightsaber battles, or it had, great world building. That was the biggest thing about the prequels. It built the world even bigger, expanded bigger planets. And then the Clone Wars came out, and we get to see those planets from these different species of aliens we'd seen from the OT to the prequel trilogy. We get to see their planets specifically. So we get to see the Mon Calamari planet. We get to see all these different species planets. I mean, we get to see more on Camino with the clones and how they were trained. It's just they built so much out of it. And that was my biggest problem with the Disney trilogy that they put out, was that there was not a lot of world building. We didn't get it. It felt so small, especially The Last Jedi. It felt really small. I mean, they go to this planet where there are slaves being kept. Why would the slave care about these people from the Republic? The Republic was just in charge. you should be like, I kind of want to see what the First Order is going to do. The Republic, resistance was just in control, and I was a slave under that time period. Like, I kind of want to see what the First Order is going to do. I mean, so a lot of it didn't make sense. So let's get back into the article before I continue on a rambling rant. Whatever the case may be, we are eager to see if the first official announcements about Project Luminous will match the details given by our informant. The same goes to what Kevin Feige's part will be in the franchise. However, it was our informant who told us months before the first episode of The Mandalorian that the main character will find a child whom he will take care of for most part of the season. So, their informant who's given this information told them, which I've never seen this article. I mean, I'm sure it's in this website somewhere because it looks like they have like a Hut podcast and stuff. So, I mean, they say that their informant told them that the Mandalorian's main character would be like taking care of a child the whole season, which is what happened. At the end of the first episode, he finds the child and he's taking care of the child the entire series. And if that's really what their informant reported, maybe their informant has some information here. So they're saying that this Project Luminous will start with a video game in 2021. So I'm guessing that it would start in this era and kind of introduce us to this era, maybe kind of be an open world, or maybe, I mean, I know everybody wants open world games, but sometimes when you really want to like pinpoint a story, it's hard to tell open world. I mean, I guess not though. I mean, look at all these great games. I mean, KOTOR was huge. So no telling, but it said it's supposed to start a video game and it would go into that. I'm sure that will introduce us to the timeline, the characters, where the Republic is, how the Jedi Council is at the time. I'm sure they're completely different than they're going to be in the prequels because, I mean, if you've watched Rebels, Yoda talks about how the dark side clouded the judgment of the Jedi Council during that time, and they made poor decisions. And they were basically not making good decisions, and they were not the way the Jedi had been planned. They were not the Jedi that they should have been, and they weren't the Jedi of old. So we'll see kind of how that works out. So if they're really going to go in this era, if they're really not going to go Old Republic right now, which I do think down the road they will go way back and dig into how the Jedi started, maybe how the Sith first started, and how that clash came about, light and the dark. There's a lot of great EU expanded universe stuff, like old legend stuff that deals with this, that if you guys really want to get this kind of information, I would definitely recommend you go check out. There's just a ton of stuff. And I did mention Ryan Kennel, RK Outpost. He does a EU Legends book club on his channel, I believe. I would definitely go check him out. But yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of stuff that could be going on here. And Lieutenant Crunch, he wrote in the chat here, to add to this, why is my comments not showing it? Okay. To add to this, the development company who made Fallen Order has been hiring, and the popular speculation is it's another Star Wars game. Some people are expecting Fallen Order 2. Maybe it's this new thing instead, though. That's a huge possibility. I mean, I did not know about that. So thanks for pointing that out. I appreciate that. And that's a huge possibility. I mean, there's a lot that they could do with this time period. And like I said, I think they're going to use this time period because bringing Yoda into it, like Jason Ward was saying, let me go ahead and back into this one. Share my screen here. Where is it? Okay. Yoda is a Jedi, but isn't the old Jedi, I'm sorry, we knew from the Skywalker era. So, what I think is going to happen is the reason, like I said earlier, I think the reason they're doing this is because they want a familiar character that everybody knows, especially for people who are not following Star Wars and are going to the movies just to see a Star Wars movie. That, oh, a Star Wars is out, let's go see it. Like, they don't hear about it for months and months and months like we do. They hear about it maybe a few weeks or a month before it comes out. They're just watching TV. They see an ad for us. Oh, look, a Star Wars. Let's go see it. Like that meme from what's that show with Jason Bateman? I think he's like, here's some money. Go see a Star Wars. Like it's that kind of crowd that they want them to see something they know. So if they see Yoda, they're like, oh, I know Yoda. Let's go check that out. It's something with Yoda in it. So yeah, I think that's probably the reason they're going to go. And I'm still holding on to hope that they're going to go way farther back than 400 years. But I do think eventually we will get there. I think it might take a while. And that's what people wanted. As soon as Disney bought this, we were all like, Old Republic, let's do it. Everybody wanted Old Republic right away. That's what we wanted, of course. But of course, it's not going to happen all the time what we want. And a lot of people out there who love the EU stuff and like the Legends novels are like, please don't touch that. Please don't do that. I want my stuff to be that. I don't want this to be that now. I don't want you to, if the people who don't like Star Wars or what Disney's doing with Star Wars might not want them to get hold of that property, which I understand. Might not want them to do that specific character that they loved. But they're so big on strong female characters right now. They go back to the Old Republic and they go back to the Revan Malik and the Mandalorian Wars, and you can introduce Bastila Shan. I mean, huge, like massively popular character from the Old Republic franchise. Huge. Like in the Revan novel, she's big in that too. I mean, I would definitely recommend if you're a Knights of the Old Republic 1, 2, and an Old Republic MMO fan to go back and read the Revan book. In fact, I need to go back and read it myself. It's been quite a few years since I read it, but I do love it. It's fantastic. I might actually get me an audiobook of that. I maybe go on buy that on like one of the Audible or something like that, maybe. Yeah, but I need to check it out. It's been a long time. But I mean, there's so much stuff they could do. And the fact that we're actually getting some stuff, some information coming out means that something's in the works. People are hearing something from their sources. Like I said, Jason Ward from making Star Wars. I keep saying macing. But Jason Ward from making Star Wars always has reliable sources. He's had in the past, he's had reliable stuff from Rise of Skywalker, from Last Jedi, from Force Awakens. Not all of it's been reliable, let's put it that way, but some of it has. And then there are other people look at Doomcock on YouTube, Geeks and Gamers, and some of those guys that have come out with sources. And then Jedi Paxis on Reddit with the entire script leak from the Rise of Skywalker. And a lot of it was true. I mean, they cut some of it out and they moved stuff around, but a lot of it was still there. And that came out months before the film was even released. I mean, so that's huge that there people are reporting things and things are coming out. And it's not like it used to be back in the day where you didn't find shit out. I mean, we didn't know anything about Baby Yoda. Nobody fucking knew about Baby Yoda. And then all of a sudden we have Baby Yoda. Well, technically it's not Baby Yoda, of course. It's actually, the child. It's the species. And I'm kind of excited and I'm kind of not for them to kind of explore his species. I kind of don't know if I want to know what it is. I kind of want to maybe keep it a mystery like George always wanted to, but we'll see. Maybe they won't actually get into it. Maybe he'll never find his species and he'll just stay with him. Or maybe he'll be kidnapped by the emperor or whatever. I'm also seeing that articles coming out saying that we're going to find out about how the emperor survived the Death Star explosion in the Mandalorian season 2. And I've heard we're going to get like Rise of Skywalker characters that come through in those episodes. So maybe we'll see Luke, maybe we'll see Leia, maybe we'll see Poe. I mean, maybe we'll see somebody maybe we'll see Holdo, somebody in the New Republic in that timeline. So we'll never know. And I still think that character at the end of, I think, episode 6 was freaking Boba Fett. There's a guy on YouTube that did a video, basically, not just the spurs when he was walking at the end of there was a sound, like kind of almost like a tuning of an old timey radio sound. When Boba Fett comes on screen in the special edition in the Jabba the Hutt Han Solo next to the Millennium Falcon scene and the New Hope that they had put back in the film, there's a sound with Boba Fett when you see him that it's actually in that scene as well. And it kind of makes me think that we are going to get Boba Fett. So a lot of information, a lot of stuff going on. Hope everybody's having a great evening. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope it wasn't too busy. I hope you got to relax a little bit. We kind of did. We just had a ton of stuff going on, a lot of family in town. Or a new family in town, actually, we never met. So super busy. So hopefully next weekend we can be a little bit calmer. Also, real quick to update, me and Jason have not done our Rise of Skywalker review. He's a district manager at a very, very high restaurant chain. He's been super busy. Even on his days off, it's hard for us to get together at the right times. So tomorrow or Thursday this week, we're trying to get together to do that because we really, really want to get that out there. And if we can't, I'll do one by myself and I'll kind of talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about the film. I was going to do that in this stream, but I didn't want to put I'd had to put spoilers in the title of the stream, and I know I mentioned like a small spoiler earlier, but it was nothing that spoiled the movie. It was just a stupid little character moment in the film that I talked about. So nothing that was spoiled. So I was going to do a KOTOR 2 stream tonight, but I knew I would go really, really late for that. And look at that. It's already 2 a.m. now, and I've already gone way too late like I wanted to because I have so much crap to do tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about this story that I saw today. Excuse me. Damn. From multiple YouTubers and people pointing it out. And I really wanted to talk about it because it's very interesting that they're thinking about this timeline versus Old Republic or 1,000 years after Skywalker Saga. I mean, they could do anything. One thing I didn't like that Kathleen Kennedy said in that article from Zero.hu was, what do we do? Do we go forward? Do we go back? Do we stay in this galaxy? Would you go another? The universe is never ending. Yeah, I don't know if I want them to go into another. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want them to go into another like galaxy because it wouldn't be as connected and it wouldn't feel probably. I don't know. If it's something that connected to the original galaxy and it kind of like I don't know. There's a lot of stuff they could do. I just don't know if I would like them to go in a different galaxy outside of the galaxy we know in the Star Wars universe. Lieutenant Crunch says, I appreciate the stream, by the way. I would have completely missed out on this new info. Oh, no problem. I'm glad you joined me. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. And I will get back to my KOTOR 2 streams this week. And once I'm done with that, I will go to Fallen Order. I don't know if you guys can see behind me, there's some other like computer monitors. I got my old PC out. I'm waiting for my Mac to sell. I got a couple people interested. As soon as it does, I'm going to get a brand new, more powerful PC and a new monitor. And that way I can get more in depth into video editing. My Mac is older. And before I really knew more about it, the place I bought the Mac from, they really didn't know what they were talking about. They were like, this is great for hardcore video editing. Final Cut Pro crashes. Adobe Premiere crashes. Any heavy video editing software I try to load, it just crashes as soon as I start importing clips and audio tracks. So I've been using iMovie because it works. It still lags, but you guys can tell, I'm sure in my KOTOR 2 stream last night, there was when I had multiple enemies on screen, it was starting to lag. So hopefully we'll get into a new system and maybe even a new camera coming soon. That would be fantastic. We're looking at doing that too because I've been using my iPhone camera, and it's nice. It'd be nice to have a dedicated camera for the stream and from when we do specific videos, so I can just leave it on the tripod, not worry about like always getting the tripod out, getting the phone on it, and getting it all set up. So a lot of stuff we want to do this year. So a lot of big things coming for the channel, I hope. Oh, I'm not going to say I hope. I'm going to say I know because we're going to do it. I've been doing a lot more streams. I have a stack of videos of me and Jason reviewing beers. And I know they are not our most popular videos, but we like doing them. So I think what we're going to start doing is introducing a different type of beer video, maybe even talk about a specific topic, review the beer, and talk about a topic at the same time. So we talk about the beer, we'll really like it, and then we'll move on into the topic, and we'll drinking while we're talking about the topic. Might do that. And the Vader's Castle, this podcast, I'm going to try to do it on Sunday evenings. I'm trying to gather some information during the week, some articles, and kind of combine them. And if there's a new Star Wars comic come out that I want to talk about, I might talk about that. If there's a new game, or if there's a new figure release or new pop, or I'll just put it all in the stream and we'll talk about that. So I'm going to try to bring that back. And in the future, we'd like to have some guests on, maybe even some guests with some larger subscriber accounts that would come on the channel and check us out too. So anybody's watching from Geeks and Gamers or RK Outpost, you guys watching any of those guys, or anybody else who wants to come on and talk about some Star Wars sometime, let me know, and I would love to have you guys. So also have some other guests planned. If the schedules can kind of come together, I've got a couple people that I know that want to come on and talk about Star Wars as well. So that's coming too. And I also mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we are at 139 subscribers, almost 140. When we hit 200 subs, we are giving away this Darth Vader. Let me stop sharing my screen. So let's just go here. Okay. We're going to give away this Star Wars Darth Vader Funko Pop. It's the Futura Pop. Who designed this? Oh, I guess it's Futura is the guy's name. He is a graffiti icon and passionate Star Wars fan. Yeah, Futura. The series combines Futura's abstract artistic style that incorporates both text and imagery with his favorite Star Wars characters in Funko Pop form. So this is a Target exclusive. It comes in a hard case, like I bought it in this. It hasn't ever come out. It's got plastic on the top, sealed it. Me and Jason got this together to give away. So when we hit 200 subscribers, we'll be giving that away. I will also do a video exclusively talking about this and showcasing this specifically in a video. In fact, maybe I'll do it with him when he's over in the next couple days. So look forward to that. That will be for US subscribers only because shipping overseas is big. We did a giveaway last year and the guy that won was from Poland, I believe. The shipping was ridiculous. So Lieutenant Crunch says, if you're looking for any advice on good PC hardware specs, I'd be happy to help out. There's a lot out there, and a lot of it is BS, sadly. LOL. I tend to keep up on hardware. My number one recommendation is to go for a Ryzen CPU, especially Zen Plus or Zen 2. Test for multitasking, video editing, rendering, streaming, etc. Okay, awesome. I will actually take that. I'll probably just copy this and put it on a note so I can kind of look into that. Because, I mean, what I've been told by people is build your own. Don't just go buy one that's already built. I mean, I was in Costco the other day, and they had like a $2,000 gaming PC that was like massively built. It's a Dell, of course, but they had it like $600 off. And my wife's like, you haven't sold the Mac yet, so we're not buying the computer yet, which I understand. But yeah, I'll look into that for sure. I've heard of the Ryzen CPU and I heard good things about it already. So I appreciate that very much. And if I have any questions, maybe I'll connect. I think you follow me on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. If you don't, maybe follow me on Twitter, shoot me a message. We can start a conversation on there too. And I do appreciate you watching the streams lately and everybody else who's joining me for this one. So I wanted to, what else I want to talk about? So yeah, Jedi Fallen Order will be the next game I'll be streaming after KOTOR. That's one of the reasons I want to get into the PC stuff is so I can get a really good, I know I can do the capture card on the Mac. The only problem is to do a Mac the way I want to do it, as powerful as I want to do it, it's going to be a big chunk of change. And unfortunately, at this time, I don't have that kind of money. I'm not generating that kind of revenue from this channel at the moment. So I just can't do that. I would love to because I love how I've got iPhone, I've got iPad, I've got Apple Watch. My wife has a MacBook. We have everything Apple. We have HomePod. We have Apple TVs. Everything kind of goes together. And I have a friend of mine's like, just build a Hackintosh. And I'm like, I even looked into a Hackintosh. Even that's a little bit more expensive for what I'm wanting to do. So I'm going to have to maybe kind of build this slowly if I have to. But I do have a PC that is powerful enough to do what I want it to do at the moment until I get my new one. So when this Mac goes, I'll have that going. I'll have to get my save games from KOTOR moved over somehow so I can pick up on that because I don't want to basically, go from that. So I don't want to have to start over. Yeah, pre-builts are tricky. Lieutenant Crunch says, pre-builts are tricky. There are good ones, but a lot of small things get overlooked that can add up and impact things negatively. That is correct. Yes, I'm sure. I appreciate your advice on that, by the way. I'm going to crack one more for tonight. It's what I did last night. It's a Duke Law Brewing Company, Sour Me, Double Blueberry Imperial Sour Ale, 7.1% alcohol by volume. It's really, really good. I really recommend it. Me and Jason are going to be doing more of these beer reviews, and we really do like doing them. That's why I think maybe we can mix these kind of streams with an article or a topic we're talking about. I do like pouring beers like that. Oh, man, that's got a lot of head. Way too much. So, of course, in a Star Wars stream, I'm pouring a beer, right? Yeah, that's how that works, right? But Lieutenant Crunch, anybody else watching, if you have any other comments about what I've been talking about, what they may be going to with these movies, 400 years before, that is not that far. So they mentioned in the article like Sith gods or ancient Sith stuff. I mean, like I said earlier, they said in Phantom Menace, Sith had not, they've been extinct for millennia. They really can't go back to Sith. Maybe they can have like Jedi that go to the dark side that are trying to like raise or call forth like an old Sith god or something like that. Maybe that would make something like that. If it's like a Jedi that falls, maybe they could probably do something like that. But I don't know if they could just do it like Sith. But oh, okay. So Lieutenant Crunch said, if you have Steam Cloud, if you have Steam Cloud saves enabled, I think it should be mostly pain-free save transfer through Steam Play if KOTOR 2 supports that. It is. Could be mistaken. I did not know that. I will have to look into that because I am running it through Steam. So yeah, thank you for the advice. I really appreciate that. You didn't know about the Steam Cloud. So I'll have to look into that and see if I can do that. Because that would be a pain in the ass to go over to that, the PC. If I sell the Mac like in the next few days and I'm in the middle of a game and I can't start it over. So I'll have to figure it out. I'll definitely check and see. So thanks for that advice. I appreciate that. The thing is, I saw people earlier on other streams talking about and videos talking about they could bring Revan or Malik into this. You can't be Sith in this time period. That's why I think 400 years is a mistake. I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I do think it's because they want people to understand what's going on, and having a character like Yoda, some character people know, is going to bring in the regular people, And I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but when I'm getting to a certain point, I might have to, just enable that point again. And I'm probably repeating myself a lot. It's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm a little tired. And I've had a beer or two now, and the first one was not a 7.1. It was actually only a 4.5. This is a 7.1. So, wow, that's really good. So good. But I'm really kind of looking forward to some kind of announcement. I figure once the Rise of Skywalker stuff kind of dies down, which is starting to, I mean, the only really big thing that's happening now is people talking about the box office numbers is going to be the lowest of the three. I believe it will. I don't think it'll make as much as The Last Jedi. It'll cross 1 billion. But when you get into the rumors of the reshoots and all the extra stuff they had to do, it adds up quickly. So what's the movie's budget with the advertising? Maybe the budget was almost $1 billion already. So if you're making over 1 billion, you're not going to make much profit. So people always forget about marketing. But we'll see. And unfortunately, it sucks, but I really hope it goes under The Last Jedi so they can see that downward trend and look at that and say, well, it's not what people really wanted. Yes, Rotten Tomatoes has an 80-something% for audience score, but that's verified purchases. You go to unverified, it's different. And I've talked to people, a lot of people that like the movie. People that hate The Last Jedi. People who weren't a fan of The Force Awakens that much. But they like this. And it's hard. It was hard for me to even, I got out of The Rise of Skywalker and I was like, what the hell I just watched? Because I felt like I was thrown on a roller coaster with no warning, full speed. And at the end of the ride, it stopped and I had to jump off quickly. And that was all I had time to process that movie. Like they were going from scene to scene to scene, from story point to story point. And I'm like, it's hard for you to catch your breath in between the scenes. Biggest problem I have with that movie. Also, the fact to bring back Palpatine cancels out Anakin's arc completely. So I'm not a fan. People who liked it, that's great. I'm glad you liked it. I'm super glad you liked it. I wish I could have. I hate that I didn't like it. I hate that I didn't like The Last Jedi. Don't like that I didn't like Star Wars. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It does. And I know everybody out there has their own opinions on that stuff. And there are people in the community who feel a certain way about these movies and make the video essays on why it sucks or why it's good. That's awesome. That's definitely your opinion on that. But everybody has their own opinion. And nobody in these communities that I've seen are telling people what to like, except for maybe a few. But they're not telling you have to agree with their opinion. You have to agree with their opinion on whether you hate it or love it. It's just their opinion. So if you do like these new movies, that's great. Let's go to The Mandalorian for a minute. I haven't talked about that on the channel at all. Season 1 concluded. I hope you have seen The Mandalorian. So spoilers incoming for Mandalorian. Lieutenant Crunch posted, it looks like some games don't have save across platforms. Valve lets you download save files from their cloud save site. Here's a bit of a guide on it. Thank you, Lieutenant Crunch. I appreciate that. that are really going to help me save these files, and that way I can, not lose my freaking progress from a game that I've played already. What, 6 hours into, maybe 5 hours? That's great. Because that would suck. That would really suck. So Mandalorian. Let's talk about that. I'm going to put this on the screen so people will see this. So if you haven't seen the I don't know what just happened. My StreamYard just went down. I don't know. Weird. Okay, I'm back. My StreamYard literally backed me out to the main page. I was literally typing something. So, yeah, I was going to put that up there. I was literally going to put Mandalorian spoilers on screen. So I guess I'm not going to talk about it. I just don't know what's going on. Mandalorian is a bright light in the current darkness, in my opinion. I agree. Absolutely agree. I mean, I don't think it was perfect at all, but it was fancy. I think it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So let's try to do non-spoiler stuff for the Mandalorian, if possible. I don't really want to type again because I'm afraid it might kick me out. I don't know what was going on with that. I literally was typing the Mandalorian. Yes, I'm hunting Peck right now. So, and I'll add that banner. Okay, so there we go. Mandalorian spoilers. So let's talk about that real quick. I want to talk about the Mandalorian for just a minute. I'm not going to go into huge detail because I'm got a script going right now about a season 1 review. I was going to do every week, but it just seemed like I just couldn't get to do that every week. I would get done with something, I get done with the episode, and we'd have something else going on, or I have to take my dog to the vet or something like that. So if you guys ever see me while I'm on stream, looking down in the corner of my computer, this is I have my Ring camera in my kitchen and my very, very, very old dog who's very needy and needs a lot of attention and a lot of help right now. If he wakes up and starts moving, I kind of got to know. So that's if you ever see me looking down there, that's why. So Mandalorian. Okay, so season 1, first episode, introduced the Mandalorian catching his bounty. It just was a really good episode, and then the IG-11 scene at the end, everything worked in that episode. I remember watching it like, man, where's this been? What have they been doing until now? Why isn't this been something that's been? I don't know. Lieutenant Crunch says, I don't think it kept me as engaged through the full season as The Witcher did, for example, but the last episode was phenomenal. Yes, I am 6 episodes into The Witcher, and I do agree with you on that completely. I think it's more engaging throughout the season because there are a couple episodes, well, more than a couple episodes of The Mandalorian that do feel like they're filler, like they were meant to be filler, which is unfortunate because I don't know, it feels like maybe something that was longer and it was cut apart, or maybe they just had to cram it into, they're like, oh, we got to have more episodes, so we got to shoot more stuff. I think there are specific ones you could have taken out and it would have still worked. But I mean, he was building up his, he was building his allies. So, like I said to my wife in the beginning, I'm like, he is basically, let me put this back on screen so people can see it. He's basically building his allies. So when he has to go, whenever Baby Yoda gets recaptured, which he will, he'll have to rely on those allies to get him back. And he didn't have to rely on the allies to get him back. He had to rely on the allies to get rid of the Moth or the Empire on this planet that Grief Cargo was stationed on, which, by the way, I completely forgot the name of that stupid planet was. And it looked like a planet that's in Battlefront 1 that came out in 2015. I don't know why they didn't. It was another lava planet. In fact, I'm going to look that up real quick. Real quick, I'm just going to look up what that planet was. I guarantee I'll remember it while I'm looking. Okay, let's see what kind of maps. Let's see what it is. Can you just give me a list of the friggin' planets? Let's see here. Of course, they're not going to give me anything. Anyway, it looked like a planet that was in the original Battlefront, but then they called it something else. And I'm like, okay, that didn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you keep the same planet we already freaking knew? It's just like the freaking Disney trilogy, the sequel trilogy. Why do you have to make 9,000 new alien species? There's not that many planets in the galaxy, and we haven't discovered much of the unknown regions that you pointed that out. So why are there that many species of aliens everywhere? Why are we making all these new ones? Like you go back to Canto Bight, and in the Cantina scene in episode 7, there may be one or two that you already know, but there's so many new species of aliens. Like, I don't think that's how that works. I mean, you can't have 9,000 planets in one galaxy. There's not that many. The galaxy map, I think, is like 50 or 60, maybe. Not even that. You pull up the galaxy map on Google, and there's not that many. So where are you all getting all these species from? Are they coming from the outer regions? I swear I thought the Chiss was the Thrawn's, even in their new canon, the comics. I think he's the only species that's actually come out of the unknown regions that we know of. So I just don't get it. I think it's just people that are like, oh, we got to make new alien designs. No, you don't. Go back and do the same aliens we've seen. Because people are like, oh yeah, remember him? Remember him? It'd be like member berries everywhere for people watching it. Remember that? Remember that? Remember Athorians? Remember? Yeah, like Mandalorian. Remember Transoceans? Yeah, remember? Yeah, that's exactly. But I keep running off on a tangent. Okay, so my comments are really behind here versus my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. Okay, here it comes. Lieutenant Crunch. I also think Cara Dune is a fantastic example of how to do a strong female character well. Nothing felt forced, cringy, or ham-fisted. I absolutely 100% agree. And the fact that they got her to play that character, I mean, it's just a great casting on their part. Really, really, really a great casting on their point. Gina Carano, just as soon as I saw she was cast, and then I found out she's like an ex-rebel shock trooper when we were at Celebration in Chicago, because we got to see like a bunch more footage than you guys got to see who didn't get to go. They released like a small thing, but they didn't release it until much later. What we saw, and when she said she was like an ex-rebel shock trooper who'd been through some shit, I'm like, that's perfect for her. They're really designed this character around her. It's great. It's going to work. Excuse me. And it did. Her fighting skills, like, you really felt that when they first met on that planet, and they're fighting. Of course, they look over and the Baby Yoda's like drinking the soup. Even though they're like both getting in shots and they're both like getting the advantage, and she's getting the advantage and he's getting the advantage back, then they both have the advantage, and that's when we get Baby Yoda. And he's like, "You want to go get something to drink?" It worked, and it wasn't just this force. Like, here's a strong female character, she's better than everybody else. Somebody, I'm not gonna say who it was, messaged me and said, "Remember at the very end of the almost the end of the season finale, when they're trying to get the boat to break off into the lava river, and it's like I guess welded on with like the lava's just molded around it, and they're like grabbing stuff. Give me a hand, let's get it apart." And she goes, "Get it back." I thought she was gonna okay. So I thought that, and a friend of mine's like, "Dude, I swear to God, she was gonna push that off and be like, look what I can do." But no, she was like, "No, I got the freaking blaster rifle and I just blew it off," which is great. I mean, they made it a character that wasn't just forced in there to be in there. Um, and she worked really well. And I really hope she has a bigger role or a good role in season 2, because it sounds like she's staying on that planet with Grief Karga and going to be in the guild. I just hope they don't like not use her as much. I'm sure they're going to introduce new characters and then season 2, but they have to bring her back, because I really love Gina Carano. I loved her in Deadpool, and there's a movie she did. I believe it's just like it was an action movie. I don't think I ever saw it. I saw previews for it. It looked really good too. I'll have to go back and check that out. But I thought she was fantastic in Deadpool. She's the one that did a superhero landing. He's like, "Well, she's on a superhero landing." She did. It's great. There's a lot of superhero landings in Jumanji too today. Like when they die and they come back down. Of course, the Rock's character lands, superhero landing, like the Iron Man pose when you land on the ground. But speaking of that, I do have a Mandalorian shirt on right now. Got it from Kohl's. I actually got a Baby Yoda shirt too. Lean that down so I don't know if you guys can see or not, but yeah, got me a Mandalorian shirt on now, and I got a Baby Yoda shirt too. Of course, we saw them, and my wife's like, "Oh crap, they don't have my friggin' size," and I'm like, "It's because people see Baby Yoda shirts, like they're 1XL and one small. That's it. The rest were gone. They didn't have her size. She was like, "Of course I don't have my fucking size. I wanted that shirt." And of course, we can't talk about the Mandalorian without talking about the child, aka everybody calls it Baby Yoda, which is like those memes say. Technically, it's not Baby Yoda. Of course, it's not Baby Yoda. We know that. I had a friend message me last week. She was like, "So when is the Mandalorian set?" I'm like, "It's right after. It's like 3 or 4 years after Return of the Jedi." She's like, "Okay, so that's not really Baby Yoda then." I'm like, "Nope. It's a species of Yoda. They call it the child for the marketing and stuff." She's like, "Okay, so well, it makes more sense now." I was super confused. I was like, "I thought Yoda died." So she was like, maybe thinking it was like a prequel or something like that. I'm like, no, it's set way after. So it's a different, character and species. We've only seen Yoda, Yaddle from episode 1, and then I can't remember the name of the council member in Knights of the Old Republic was another one of Yoda's species as well. Okay, Lieutenant Crunch, I'm going to put this comment on screen because I want to talk about this too. I can't believe Disney wasn't ready for the Baby Yoda craze, to be honest. That's their territory, like no merch. Yeah. So John Favreau said in an interview that the reason they didn't have any merchandise for Baby Yoda, especially toys and stuff, is because with toys you have to do prototypes, and prototypes always leak. Go back to a lot of the Avengers movies, a lot of the Captain America stuff. Like there was always like a Lego set that would leak like 3 months before the movie came out, or even sooner, because the prototypes that have to be released. And there was like Episode 7 had a couple like Leia like ship prototypes released and things like that. So I do believe that was part of it, but some of it was they just dropped the ball. Like the t-shirts, you don't make prototypes for t-shirts, you just print them. And of course, they didn't even have t-shirts until about 2 weeks ago. I mean, if you get on like T Public, places where artists make specialty shirts, like they were making them the day after the first episode, the day after the second episode, they were out. I'd already bought one after the second episode. I already had a Baby Yoda shirt before episode 3 even aired because I got it from T Public, and an artist took an image from the show and put it on a shirt. But yeah, they were, oh man, far behind. Can you imagine if they would have had this stuff ready? Like it would have been the number one stuff for Christmas, and their merch wouldn't be, you go to Meijer, you go to Walmart, you go to Target, their merch is struggling. Unless it's like OT or prequel trilogy stuff, or now Mandalorian stuff, they're not selling the Rise of Skywalker. There's still stuff from The Last Jedi. There's still stuff from The Force Awakens at my Meijer. It's a ton of it. They marked it down to like under $1 for a ton of the older figures from like Last Jedi and Force Awakens. They were like under $1 on like the discount stuff back in I think August. It was crazy. Lieutenant Crunch also said, "We don't have a name for the species that Yoda is, do we?" No, we do not. We do not. We do not have a Yoda species name. George Lucas always wanted it to be very mysterious. He didn't want to give very much away. And that's why everybody calls it Baby Yoda, because they don't know what the hell the species is called. But yeah, no name for the species yet. And now that they talked about in the Mandalorian season, episode 8. Sorry, not season 8. Episode 8, that the leader of the Mandalorians, I guess the clan leader, she was like, "You got to take this baby, and since you can't train it to be a Mandalorian, you have to take it back to and give it back to its family. So that's your goal. That's what you have to do now." So now we might find out more about the species, but I do hope they keep it a little bit mysterious and don't just go to a planet just full of them. And I don't think it's going to be a species that's going to be like real prominent. Like there's not going to be like millions of them on a planet. It might be like maybe thousands. It's going to be a smaller amount of them. And from what George Lucas did say also, that they are very, very force sensitive species. Like they're the most force sensitive species actually that we know about. I believe it's in some old interviews that he did, but yes, he said that it's one of the most powerful, like naturally gifted species with the Force. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lieutenant Crunch says, "Okay, that makes sense. I hadn't considered that about the prototyping for toys, figures, etc." And really quickly, I have to check my kitchen because I swear I heard my dog crying. Nope, he's asleep. I think it was the wind. It's pretty windy here, actually. Has been all day, even though it was nice outside. But yeah, to respond to your comment, yeah, the prototype thing, it's just everything leaks nowadays, and they just really wanted to keep it a secret. I'm glad they did because I remember after the first episode, everybody was like, "Holy fucking shit! Did we just get a baby Yoda, like a baby species Yoda species like thing?" Like that was the nobody was talking about anything else. You went to Twitter, it's all you heard. It's all it was trending was like Baby Yoda, Mandalorian. It was like for 3 days straight. I think it was in the top 5 trending on Twitter. It was crazy. Um, by the way, we do have a Twitter account, Twitter, Facebook, I think Instagram. I have Snapchat. I haven't done really well. I actually started doing more on it now, and I'll have to put that in my links. We also have a Patreon page. If you guys are watching this live or not live, whatever, I would appreciate you guys checking that out. And if you become a patron, we only have one patron as of now. When we get 5 patrons, we'll start doing some more things for Patreon. We'll start doing like drunk commentaries for movies and stuff like that. So yeah, I appreciate you guys checking that out too. So in simplistic terms, Yoda's race is kind of like the space elves of Star Wars. Exactly. They live a long time. They're very connected to the Force. So instead of being connected to magic, they're connected to the Force, which is kind of its own magic, yes. But yes, they are definitely like the elves of Star Wars, like the high elves of Star Wars. Yeah. So if you're talking about like from like kind of like the Lord of the Rings, they're very naturally gifted in a lot of things they do, including magic and archery and swordsmanship. It's very naturally gifted in fighting, and they live a lot longer. So that makes sense. And a lot of elf characters in a lot of games are based off the same kind of thing. Of course, this part of me wants to see Yoda's planet, a ton of his species, know that and find the name of the species out. Um, People always say, like, okay, so how is Baby Yoda able to like lift a mudhorn? People complain that Ray could lift like a 900 rocks. Yoda's 50 years old. Ray's like what, 20, 21, 22 in the movie? He's 50. So he has 50 years of natural force progression. And so that makes sense to me that he would be able to do that kind of stuff. I had a conversation, almost turned into an argument with somebody about that. Like, no, Ray's way more powerful. She can do this because she's not the chosen one, though. And Yoda species is naturally inclined and in tune with the Force. I guess they're kind of like, as they're born, they kind of just present Force powers and they start learning abilities. I'm sure that's what it is. If they're that naturally gifted, like Lucas said, then that's what you can pull from. And I saw a lot of people actually say that the episode that aired before The Rise of Skywalker came out. I'm going to put this on screen really quickly so people see it, just in case. That the episode that came out, excuse me, I'm sorry, but I'm drinking a beer, so what do you expect? So the episode of The Mandalorian that came out right before The Rise of Skywalker showed Baby Yoda healing Grief Karga. And now people are saying, well, they just put that out early to show that Force healing is cool and Rey can do it. Cool. He's 50 years old. She's in her early 20s and has not had any training whatsoever. We don't know where Baby Yoda's been. He could have been with his species the whole time, learning and progressing in the Force naturally like his species is supposed to do. So there's that. I've been live for an hour and 18 minutes. We're going a little bit longer, and then we'll end the stream for tonight. Probably in the future, I'll probably try to keep this to an hour and a half, depending on if we have guests as well. If I have a bunch of guests, then we might extend it out. But I don't know if we'll ever go like EFAP long, like 11 to 12 hours or something like that. But, you never know. I mean, people like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was like, how the fuck do you listen to a podcast that's 11 hours? I'm like, dude, I listen to it over a few days time period while I'm doing other things. Like if I'm out shopping or if I'm cleaning the house or I'm out doing this or that, I have my AirPods in and I'm listening to it. I listen to it over time because it's like a group of people just talking. That's how it can go so long. So I don't know if we'll ever go to that level where we're like responding to videos and things like that. I think it's more and more focused on content that comes out for the week, like Star Wars rumors, or if it's next week and there's not a lot coming out and I actually have a guest on, we'll actually probably talk about this kind of stuff and I'll get more opinions on it. Maybe even if I can get more than 1 or 2 people together, I would like to do a stream talking about like the past or the present and the future of Star Wars. I don't want to do past. That's way too much we could do. So like the present and the future of Star Wars, like what we think is going to happen, what they should do, where they should go from here, and kind of our own take on that. So Mandalorian, no. To kind of talk about that a little bit more. Like I said, there was a few episodes that really felt like it was filler. Some stuff that didn't feel like it was necessarily good. They could have taken it out and it would have mattered. I really, really did like episode 7, I believe, where it was his kind of his backstory, where you get to meet people who knew him, like his old crew, like people used to run with him back in the days. So, do we have any plans to set up a Discord server? We actually do have a Discord server. Let me grab the link for that for you. I'll put that in the description. Actually, might already be in the description, but I'll pop the link in the chat just so you have it. Let me see if it is in the description here. Yeah, I believe it is in the description. I'll put that in there. If it should not be, it shouldn't have ended. It should still be good. There is our Discord link. But yes, we do have one. I don't have a lot of people that are active on it, but I believe if we get me and maybe a couple more people on there to start being more active, the few other people that are on there will start getting active. I've tried to get Jason to do some stuff on Twitter and Discord too, but with his job, he's just so freaking busy. It's really hard for him to do extra things during the workday, especially if it's like right now during football season and like college bowl season. That he's just super busy, and NHL season, like that's going through, and he's on a big sporting event. He's really, really busy. Like the restaurant's always busy. So, you know, but yes, I did put the Discord link in the chat, and it's also in the description with all the other links for like Patreon, Instagram, and Facebook is on there. I guess I didn't leave our Twitter on there as well, but we do have a Twitter. It's just all one word, the Geek Blend, so you can look it up there. But yes, so we do. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, a lot of people when they're watching a live stream, they don't check descriptions. They're just the chat's there and it's covering everything up. So it's understandable. I half the time I don't even see what it is in the description. But yes, we do have quite a few things on there. Section for memes, for Star Wars memes. We have stuff for like a friend of mine, like he's like, you got to make a section for in a not safe for work memes. And I'm like, okay, so we do that. We have general chat. We have like Star Wars Cantina chat. I have just, I got some Pokemon stuff set up over there because we do play Pokemon Go. Although I haven't played it in like a week, but yeah, we do do stuff on there, and I'll get more active on there as we get more people to join the server. I think it'll get more active and kind of go on its own and kind of build and spread. So we're just trying to grow the community and get everybody to join in and watch the streams, watch the videos, and kind of interact and just build and build and build and grow and grow and grow. That's our goal. Like me and Jason, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do full time. That's our goal. And I don't release enough videos, I know, to do it full time. But like I said, with the issues with my dog, with our jobs and everything else we got going on, it's hard to do a lot. But I'm taking off time from work because my dog, basically, he cannot be alone for more than 2 hours without some serious supervision. If he's not asleep, he's basically walking back and forth the kitchen. He'll go to the bathroom in the kitchen and he'll walk through it, creating massive disgusting messes. He has to have medication 3 times a day. So it's quite a bit. So I'm basically doing a lot of that right now. And every time he's not familiar with the upstairs of the house since we moved in, and his dementia issue started. So if I bring him up here, he kind of freaks out. And of course, he has bladder issues, so he'll pee on the floor. So I'll have to have the cleaner up here so he could pee on the floor 3 or 4 times while I'm editing a video that's only 20 minutes long. So it's kind of hard to get up here and do that. I mean, I had moved my computer downstairs during the Halloween stuff I was doing. Went to the Joker review. Thought about doing it again, but it's just a lot of work to kind of move things back and forth. But so I've got, like I said, I got a stack of videos I need to edit. I got a couple other like videos I want to make. I'll probably just start making like random videos on trailer reactions. Videos I see there might be kind of funny or cool that I react to. Maybe like a random episode reviews of like South Park. Like I'm on season 21, trying to catch up on South Park right now. I'm actually going to do a Jumanji review this week. I really liked it, so I really want to talk about that too. I'll probably start seeing some more movies in the current year, 2020. A lot more. I didn't see a lot last year. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You guys can't see, but like right next to me here, I have my current Mandalorian pops. I've got The Mandalorian, the 2019, like the fall convention exclusive. It's an New York Comic Con exclusive. Then I have the Cara Dune, and then I have the IG-11. Um, I ordered the Amazon exclusive. I'm getting the Barnes and Noble 2-pack of Mandalorian IG-11, and they just put out like a new list of all of the ones that are coming out, and then they just released another one that's coming out. It's the Cara Dune FYE exclusive. I don't know, Lieutenant Crunch, do you collect anything? Do you collect pops or anything like that? I also collect a few 1/6 scale like Hot Toys Star Wars figures. Like I have Anakin Episode 3, Obi-Wan Episode 3, Darth Vader Rogue One, Darth Vader New Hope, Kylo Ren Episode 7. And I have Batman v Superman, Ben Affleck Batman, Suicide Squad Joker, Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. That's the only ones I have. That I have a really cool Darth Vader statue, and that whole side of the room over there, can't see it, but it's all Darth Vader collectibles. Huge shelf of that, and then there are some on the wall there, and I have more in a box. So I really haven't got all this together, and that's one of the big things. Every time I come up here to do a video, I get distracted. I start like moving stuff around in my room. I've got a massive Black Series TIE Fighter I want to hang up on the ceiling, like mount off the ceiling. I got so much shit I want to do in here. I just get friggin' distracted sometimes. I came up here to edit a video earlier, and I'm getting out the PC and setting up the dual monitors and getting everything online, making sure everything was installed, making sure everything. Yeah, so it's like came up here to edit a video. Now I'm out of time. I have to go back downstairs because my wife was going to bed for work tomorrow. So I was like, shit, now I got to go back downstairs for now. So yeah, actually, yeah, Lieutenant Crunch said caring for an older doggo can definitely be very tough, but it's so worth it, especially if you had him all or most of their lives. Yes, I actually got him when he was 9 weeks old, had a puppy, so had him for his entire life. And he is actually 16 and a half years old. He is a Boston Terrier. Their breed is like 13 to 15 average lifespan. He's 16 and a half, actually 16 and 3/4. If he lives to May, he'll be 17 on May 28th. See, he would be 17 this year. So he is really going. I mean, for all the stuff he's been through, he's doing good for his age and all the crap he's been through, like multiple bladder infections, seizures, things like that. Like he's just been through so much shit. So I mean, he's been great. We also have a 4-year-old chocolate lab we rescued back in the spring, and he's insane. I mean, he can come up here and chill, hang out. He comes up here with me and Jason. He'll lay on the floor and hang out with me and Jason, do videos. So he's a lot easier to kind of take care of. So once Baxter passes, it'll be a much easier, which I hope, of course, I hope that never happens, but I just want him to be happy. I don't want him to be in pain or like something like that. He's getting chiropractic adjustments right now. He's also getting, shit. Of course, my mind goes blank. Crap. Anyway, he goes through a ton of stuff, but yeah. Lieutenant Crunch says, yep, I've got some pops, posters, etc. I like to have more, but I don't have the room to display much currently. I didn't either until we moved in this house it's been a year this past September. My wife does pretty well for herself, and she has a master's degree, and we got this house at a really, really good deal. I mean, I'm talking massive deal. Like the only reason we are in this big of a house is because of the price we got for it. So yeah. Lieutenant Crunch says 16 and a half years. That's amazing. Yeah. He's, it's crazy that he's that old. People, it's like, Baxter's still alive? Like I'll post pictures on Facebook. People message me like, dude, Baxter's still alive? That's so crazy. I'm like, yeah, he's still kicking. So I actually did a vlog, I think probably 6 months ago. The only fucking vlog I've done. I've talked about doing many, many vlogs that I have the lab and Baxter, the Boston Terrier, in that vlog. I was going to have our cat in the vlog, but of course she wouldn't come out in front of the fucking bed. She was like, no, I'm not going to be on camera. Nope. So I got that. I want to do some more stuff. I plan on doing Snapchat if possible for like when we're going to see movies or when we're like behind the scenes before we start shooting. And eventually I'll just move all that stuff to Patreon. Like we'll start doing behind the scenes stuff and like specific stuff just for Patreon once we get at least like 5 patrons. I don't want to just do it for one patron because I know the person. So it's like, they're like, I don't give a shit. Cause I even asked him like, dude, so we start doing a bunch of Patreon exclusive stuff. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. You don't have to. He's like, you can wait. So yeah, once we get more people for Patreon, we'll start doing more things on there. We'll start having people recommend videos for us, things like that. That'll be fun. Maybe even some, like I said, commentaries, maybe live commentaries, like on Patreon and stuff. I didn't see your comment there, Lieutenant Crunch. You said, especially after I cleared out more space, so I've got decent space to play VR. Yeah, Like I've got that Star Wars Jedi Challenges, that AR game that where you put your phone in there and you just got the lightsaber and you fight different characters and go through stages into the game. Played it a couple times, and me and Jason had talked about getting it out and actually like playing it and like filming ourselves playing it. So we might be doing that soon. That'd be fun. My niece and nephew want to come over and play it, so I might have them on here to do it too. So we're not sure. Probably end up doing some Geek Blend Kids stuff because my nephew is like, dude, let me come on your channel and talk about my pops or my new shoes that I get, my new sneakers that I buy. I'm like, oh, I might do that. So we might do like an offshoot once we get down the road where we do like Geek Blend Kids, where some of my nieces and nephews come on there and talk about some stuff. So we might do that too. Got a lot of stuff I might want to do, but right now we're going to focus on the Star Wars stuff, the MCU, DC stuff, things we talk about already. That we like to talk about games and things like that. We're going to keep it on that. So looks like we've been talking for an hour and 30 minutes. It's a long time for somebody to bloviate by themselves and just, run, right? But I do enjoy doing this. I do. Especially when it's somebody I can talk to. Lieutenant Crunch, I really appreciate your interactiveness on this episode. That's been fantastic. And everybody else who's been watching, I do really appreciate it. I am Jeff. This is the Geek Blend. If you're new to the channel, we do really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we are about 139 subscribers. And when we hit 150 subscribers, we will be giving away this pretty awesome Star Wars Funko Pop. Let me get a better shot of that. Target exclusive, sold out. You can find it for a decent price on eBay, but people are like jacking it up. And the weeks that goes by where it's always, where they're definitely not getting more stock in, they definitely are going to, increase the price, and it's going to be inflated quite a bit. So once we hit 200 subscribers, we'll be giving that away. So 200 subscribers. I'm tired. 200 subscribers will be giving that pop away. So if you guys could subscribe, like the video, we appreciate that. And then hit the bell for notifications. And then if you could take this video or any other video that you watch on the channel that you like, and you could put it on your Twitter or your Facebook or even your Snapchat or your Reddit posts or anything, any place you like to share your links, we'd appreciate it. That way we can get more people to join the community, especially if you know somebody who likes this kind of stuff. Be like, hey, this is a new channel I've discovered. Maybe check them out. If you have somebody who likes beer and different kind of craft beers, me and Jason talk about that quite a bit. We have quite a few of those Brewpub episodes on the website too. And we do have like I said, we do have Mandalorian review coming soon, Rise of Skywalker review coming. I've got 5 or 6 beer reviews I need to edit and get on the channel. They're like just sitting there waiting to be edited, and I've not done it. So I need to get that done. My lazy ass needs to get that done this week. Like I told Jason the other day, like I promise I'm going to get some of these videos out. He's like, dude, I understand. Life gets in the way. I understand, dude. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, I understand he's probably wanting to, get those out because, some of those, the more we get to these videos, the more we do, the more loose we get, the more fun we have with this. I mean, one of the beers he has in there that we have to review is like 12% alcohol. So if we do multiple beers in that reviews in that day, like if he's got 1 or 2 days off during the week, and if his wife's off work on one of his days off, he spends time with her, he goes shopping with her, they get their groceries, clean the house, do things like that. But like tomorrow she works and then all day, and then she works at night, so we have time to do things together. So we usually try to do 2 or 3 of those videos at a time. So if we're doing multiple in a row, you can tell by like the 3rd or 4th video, you can tell which video is 2 or 3 beers in versus which one was 0 beers in. But we're also trying to get more loose and funnier on these videos because he has a great sense of humor. We laugh really hard when we're together, and I would like to let that come out on camera. And sometimes it's hard to, because when you turn on the camera, you're really focused on what you're doing, and you're like, oh, I really kind of can't do that. But we've gotten better at that. Some of the new beer reviews you'll see coming out, we've gotten a lot better at that actually. And with our Rise of Skywalker review, a lot of our reviews are very serious, and we kind of get into it. But I think because we both didn't like this movie, spoiler, we didn't, we're going to probably just have some fun with it. And that's basically what we need to do. So just being negative and down about it, we're just going to have fun and just get into it, So hopefully we can get that recorded this week and get it out. I really would looking forward to doing that with him. We saw the movie together, and he was like, what the fuck did I just watch? And I'm like, I told you it was bad. So, but like I said, people out there who like the movie, that's great. If you like it, that's fantastic. So, but like I said, I've been an hour and 34 minutes now of me just rambling on and talking about stuff. And a lot of it has been in certain sections. Maybe I'll try to timestamp this stuff in the description, but I don't know, because I went off on tangents on certain things, but I appreciate everybody watching. Lieutenant Crunch, thanks again for being so interactive in the chat and for everybody else who's watching. And if you're not watching this when it's live, thank you for watching then. Like I said, sharing these videos really, really helps. 200 subscribers, awesome giveaway coming up. Awesome Funko Pop Star Wars exclusive Darth Vader one. Probably a t-shirt to go with it as well. So look forward to that. So let's get to 200 subs so then we'll go to the next milestone. We'll give away other things. And the bigger we get, the better the stuff is we're going to give away. So just remember that me and Jason talked about that. We want to give back. So the more we do on here, the bigger we get, the more we can do, the more we're going to give back to you guys. Cause that's what we talked about from the beginning is eventually we want to be able to just give back to people. And we actually do have a couple of t-shirt designs we need to get working on too. But with his Photoshop skills, he's the one that's going to be doing it. And then the fact that he works so much, it's just hard for him to do it. So hopefully his hours will start slowing down a little bit more. He can have some more time to kind of work on that because the couple of t-shirt designs we have are pretty funny and we kind of want to get them done. And I'm actually working on a logo for the channel as well with somebody right now. And then another person in my family who has a way to make t-shirts and like other things for merchandise for our channel. We want to do that eventually too. So if there's anything you guys want to see from us and you're watching a video that we do on the channel and you're like, hey, I like this, maybe we should do more of this, leave a comment below on it and say, hey, I like this video. I think you guys should do more of this, whether it be a reaction or a movie review or a live stream or a gameplay, something like that. If you like it, let us know and we'll do more of it. We appreciate your feedback. If you don't like a video we do, you're like, this fucking sucks. You guys are terrible at this. You shouldn't do this again. You can say that too. You have your right, and we will take any kind of criticism you guys give us. I mean, I did a Star Wars news video back, I don't know, a few weeks ago. They got a shit ton of dislikes. I mean, it was bad. It was a bad ratio from like to dislike, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's people's opinions. That's great. People can express their feelings. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So, thank you guys for watching this episode of Vader's Castle. That is the Star Wars podcast we'll be doing here. Going to try to do it every Sunday night. It's going to probably range from anywhere from 10 p.m. Central to midnight Central. I'm going to try to get it a little bit earlier if possible, maybe between 10 and 11, especially if I have guests that have jobs that they want to go to the next day. Especially the one guest I'm trying and pushing to get his ass on here, because when we're just talking in public, we just talk about Star Wars. I'm like, dude, this would be a great podcast. He's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay. He's like, I don't have time. I have kids. I have this. I'm like, dude, all you need is like 30 minutes on your phone. You can get on there. You can just be audio only. You don't even have to see your face. So, but I'm trying. But I have a couple of people who really do want to come on. So I'm going to try to get that maybe set up for next week. So we'll see. But that is it for this episode of Vader's Castle, a Star Wars podcast here on the Geek Blend. I am Jeff. And if, like I said earlier, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We do appreciate it. So, Lieutenant Crunch, again, thank you for being active in the chat. I will be on tomorrow, most likely playing KOTOR 2 tomorrow or Tuesday. Look for that too. And then I've got those beer reviews coming out this week. And I have to get another video that I did last night reacting to a video. I need to get that edited and uploaded as well. So I have so much editing to do this week. So if you don't see a live stream from me in a couple days, it's because I'm just editing. Like I'll come up here and maybe I'll do a live stream, or maybe like, oh, maybe I should be editing instead of live streaming. So, but yeah, look forward to that, guys. I do appreciate it. And as always, remember here at the Geek Blend, if you geek about it, we'll speak about it. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and enjoy your week.